Hey everyone, this is Austin Shore here with We Write About Music, and today I am speaking with John Ramsey of Orange Animal. The band has just released a brand new single. It's called Place for Me, and I'm very excited to talk to him all about it. John, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be here. How's it going?
Oh, it's good. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Dude, I'm thrilled you're here. I've been listening to the song all day. It's been the soundtrack
Oh,
to my Thursday, truly.
oh, that's great.
Yeah, man. I have like a million things to ask you, but first thing I really want to know about is from like a lyrical end, because this song instrumentally is quite restrained, and I find that it kind of puts a real focus on the words. Where did this stem from, and I guess what sort of influenced it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the entire, just to kind of gauge it, there's a 5 song EP. This is the first release of
Right.
all 5 songs. And you're right. This one's it's very restrained. It's very, it's based on the lyrics. And conceptually, it was designed when I was writing it. This entire EP is very personal to me, but it was written in a way that was designed that it's the idea of saying goodbye to somebody that you deeply love, but it's an
Yeah,
imperfect love, and so many love songs are grandiose, and that's wonderful. And there are times in love that is
yeah,
grandiose, but then there's also times that are grittier and realer, and at least from my perspective, and I wanted to capture that, and I wanted to capture the idea of saying goodbye in life to that. And to that perfect, as I've described it, kind of that perfect imperfection, and
totally.
that's what I wanted to try to capture. And to all you're really asking for is you're not asking for a shrine or something, major in honor of it all. You're just asking, will you hold a place in your heart for me?
Right. And
And
it's
that's
it's
it.
sometimes the hardest
So
part of
that
saying goodbye is worrying that
it
they're gonna
is
forget you.
correct.
Yeah,
And the idea of like when the time is done and you can leave. That's
right.
will you even after all the imperfections, will you still hold a place for me? So
Totally.
that was the idea of the song, and that's where it came from.
That's amazing, and I respect it so much because it feels like a journal entry come to life, you know what I'm saying? It's not you
That's fair.
manufacturing a story out of nowhere just to, like, be like, "Hey, listen to me, this is what happened." It feels so real just in your vocal delivery and the way that it's not over the top, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think if you look at
I,
pop
I
music, for
appreciate it.
example, it's like, "This is the chorus, and I'm gonna repeat it 1,000 times," but just kind of the way that you sing and your delivery of the whole thing is so, like, raw and intimate that it forces you to
It
listen and
is.
to actually, like, get the meaning of the lyrics, and I love that so much.
Well, I really appreciate that. It means that
Yeah,
actually
man.
means a lot. I really, really
Of
appreciate it. It
course.
comes, it's a personal song, and it comes from me, and yeah, no, I mean it's the way the nature of this entire EP is. So
That's awesome.
it's one of those things, getting it out there and getting these songs one by one out there. It's quite a process.
Totally. And listen, I think that kinda bleeds into, like, the actual blueprint of making the song.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's I wouldn't call it a problem, but there's this, like, juxtaposition of really sad lyrics and really upbeat instrumentation where it's like, I don't know what's going on. There's so much happening, but I like that it matches the tone from start to finish.
Yeah, I
And
appreciate that.
even the instrumentation kind of like takes on a new life midway through.
It
How
does.
did you sort of, yeah, how did you blueprint that? Like, I guess what came first in the process?
Yeah, I wrote the song on my guitar.
Sure.
And I wrote it acoustically, and just kind of practically, I down tuned the E string to dropped it down to a D, and then
Yeah.
I used a capo, and it just kind of came alive as I was doing it, and it just kind of I sat on my porch, and wrote it. And originally it was just going to be me, and then I thought, nah, the idea came to me to ask, Autumn Traub is her name, who is the woman who sang it with me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
So I
that.
reached out to her and I said, hey, and she's worked with me on some other stuff. She's absolutely fantastic, wonderful human being, and such a beautiful singer. And I asked her if she'd be interested in trying this song. And so she came to the studio, and we had talked a couple ideas. And one of the ideas that we had talked about, and I had hesitation, and she really led me down the road, is her singing it with me start to finish. And like I said, it was an idea we had talked about. I liked it, but then by the time I got to the studio, then we had the debates of does it just become oohs and ahs and things like that? And she's like, no, let me take a shot at this.
Right.
And she just blew me away. It was just
I bet.
overwhelming. And as part of this, my bass player Bill, and Bill Darabin, and my drummer Adam, I had introduced the song to them, and they had done such a nice job kind of working with that really limited structure, and that was the focus, was to keep it as minimalistic as possible.
Totally.
And so we got all that recorded, and we got a rough mix, and I listened to it quite a number of times, and then finally I kind of came to the thought of, I feel like it just needs piano. It needs that something that really pushes it. And so I reached out to Rob Kovacs, who I've had the pleasure of playing music with, and he's an accomplished piano player, and he's actually on our next release, The Bottom. He was a
So,
huge part of getting that where I needed it to be. But I gave it to him, and I just sent the song to him, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm looking for something minimal, just hit the individual notes," and
yep.
and he did it, and he took it over and sent me his idea, and it was pretty much, if not entirely spot on, exactly what I was looking for. And it really really came together in a special way. So yeah, and then the last piece of this, I'll just keep talking if it's all right. The
Please,
last
please. No,
piece
I
of
love
this
this stuff.
is is David Shaw over at Suma Recording Company. Again, you were talking about the vocals, and kind of the sound of my voice.
Right.
When we went in to start that process, and spent the night there, and it was kind of an immersive experience. When we went in there, he was really picky about what mic to use on my voice, and really kind of laying that out. And between that and the rest of the songs on the EP, you get a sense that he really did focus on how to get maximize certain qualities of my singing voice, and I think he did a really fantastic job of it.
Great. Um, yeah, you've left me with so much there because I wasn't expecting such an in-depth answer, but I so
Yeah,
appreciate
sorry.
it. No, it's okay. I want to say, like, even on my first listen, I thought I was hearing things because I was like, is there a second vocalist on this song? You know what I mean? But kind of like that. It's not quite a duet, but it's just like, I don't know, her vocals on the track gave such like a depth to the song that it needed. I don't know, it's just like, if anyone's gonna listen to this, and they should, to listen with a nice pair of headphones, because you hear those subtleties. It feels like you're in the room with you while it's happening, and it kinda adds to the whole intimacy of the whole thing.
And sorry, I have my youngest son is over here getting water and ice, and so I looked at him as he was pouring ice.
I can't
Uh,
hear anything, so you're good.
Okay. But yeah, and you're right, it's not a pure duet in the classic sense of a
Right.
duet. And again, I go back to really the brilliance of Autumn, and how she constructed her part to all of that. I mean, and we talked it through, but she really did take it to the next level.
Yeah,
So, she really thought it through, and added, how she crossed over into spaces that I was already in, and then filled in spaces in response to me in spaces that I was not in.
totally.
And kind of a call and response,
Yeah.
in unique ways. And I was just, she did such an amazing job.
I agree, and it's another massive shout out to the instrumentalists too, because I feel like there's always this temptation to, like, throw in a solo or throw in a drum fill, but it's like everyone was exactly where they needed to be at the right time. They
Yeah.
played the part, and it's like a selfless act in terms of, you you give what the song needs versus what you want, because, your name is on it. Yeah, everyone just did
Everyone
a
did
bang up
such an
job.
amazing job. I agree with you in that minimalist style. And I will say this, and again, pitching the rest of the EP.
Yeah, please.
There's
Do
no
you have a name
guitar
for it? Sorry to
solos. I mean, I
interrupt.
didn't
Like,
put any
do you have
guitar
a name
solos in,
for
and
it?
I didn't
Or
run with anything. I didn't go crazy on anything. In fact, the
yeah,
only solo we have is from we had a saxophone solo in one of the
okay,
songs.
cool.
So other than that, and that was to end the song. And that's not me. That was our saxophone player. But yeah, everything is this entire EP. It's like I said, it's personal, it's emotional for me. I would generally describe it as a sad EP. I mean, people have asked me about it.
Sure.
Um, a few people who I know who have seen or heard the Place for Me and seen the video. I got text messages asking if I was doing okay. Um,
That's how you know you're doing a good job musically.
are you doing
Not
okay?
always, yeah, personally, but different story.
Right. But the entire EP is structured that way, and everybody I think was very thoughtful about staying where they needed to stay and not
Right.
and I credit a lot of that to David Shaw over at Suma as well of
Yeah,
making sure that we all stay kind of in our lanes to make what we needed to make.
totally. Let's talk briefly about the EP.
Yep.
Does it have a name yet?
It is. It's Place for Me. So
Okay,
this is the first track off the Place for Me EP. There are 5 songs. There's Place for Me. The next one is the next release is called The Bottom,
cool.
and that is piano, strings, so violin, viola, and cello, and me. That one comes out May 15th, and just a little bit. That one I wrote I wrote it in the middle of the night. And conceptually, it's about the idea of needing to hit bottom to be able to climb back out and to swim your way back out, because there's a sense of just constant falling and going deeper and deeper and just begging to reach bottom so that you finally have the space and the strength to swim back to light. And that one comes out May 15th. And then after that, we've got Tireless and Wild. That one is a full band instrumental. That's got the saxophone player. And then a song called Somehow, which is more of an acoustic song. And then the last one to finish the EP is a song called Hold On. And yeah, and so I tried to finish the EP with a bit more stubbornness, or stubborn optimism, if you will.
Cool. Okay.
Um, so it's not glamorously optimistic. I'm not gonna lie. It's still a sad EP.
It doesn't
Um,
need to be though. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't think
That
so. It's
kills the honesty.
Yeah, and what I wanted out of Hold On was, so I found this guitar. It's an orangewood guitar. It's got a rubber bridge, and I'd had this sound in my head for a while, and so finally I found a type of guitar that hit that sound, and so I bought it, and I got it that day. I wrote Hold On, and it's really about this idea of kind of harkening back to, I guess, a safer, happier, calmer time of ourselves, and just kind of holding on to that space, and for at least for the duration of this. So
So I'm excited for the record, but obviously the singles that are on the way. I find it's always interesting when people release an EP as opposed to an album. I'm not saying that albums have filler songs, but maybe you spend more time on some than others. How do you decide what becomes the lead single? Like, what
that's
is the decision process?
that's a great dilemma. I
Yeah.
spent it is because
Yeah.
each song has its own, for lack of a better word, place.
Yeah.
And I think I started it with this. I started trying to figure out which song hit me a certain way. And then, I asked Adam and I asked Bill and I asked a few others, musically who I trust, as to, where they sit on these songs. And I just kind of digested that for a little while. And then finally I arrived at Place for Me is such a special, and for me personally, I bear in mind when you're going through these songs and you're recording them and working on them, you listen to them so many times,
Oh, no
right?
one's
To it,
heard it more than you have. That's a
no one,
fact of life. Yeah.
and there's a point where, like, in so many other songs, you get to a point where, like, I can't listen to it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And Place for Me was one of those songs where I still don't get tired of hearing it. I just don't. I still hear it, and I'm not bothered by it. I'm not annoyed by it. I'm not hurry up and switch it. That kind of feeling. And none of the songs on the EP do I feel that way. And I've listened to them all many, many times. But Place for Me was the one where I was just it just felt it just felt home. And so I was like, I'm going to start with that. And I know it's a quieter song, and I know what it is. And I know it's more minimalistic. And Tireless and Wild has the saxophone, and it's a little bigger, and it's got the full band, and it's got all this. And
Sure.
so I debated starting with that. But then I was like, no, Place for Me is the song. It's where it belongs. And that's the entire, and that also kind of summed up the album.
Sure.
Um, And even the album cover, the EP cover, I happened to catch a photo, or I took a photo when I was in there of, two of my guitars just kinda sitting on chairs, just resting while I was, doing some other stuff, and I made that the cover because it just, and there was also an empty chair, and I thought, "You know what?
Yeah.
That kinda sums it up right there."
Have you had the opportunity to play any of these songs live yet? I mean, is it something that you wanna do?
Yes, we're gonna do an album release show, but we're gonna do it a little differently. So in prior albums and prior song releases, excuse me, we played, clubs and whatnot to do an album release show and things like that. This one I want to do a little differently. I want to do what I'm generically calling an evening with Orange Animal, and make it a little bit more of a fancier affair, if you will.
I mean,
And
an
have
evening with sets you up
I need
immediately.
right? It sounds
That's
fancy.
what I'm
It
saying.
sounds like it should have hors d'oeuvres, right?
I mean, if it
If it
doesn't, what's
doesn't,
the
just for
point?
that, I gotta have them now.
Right.
But when we put this album together, the violin, viola, and cello, they go by Opus 216, and they're wonderful musicians here in Cleveland, and well known. And Ariel Karras is the leader. She's a violin player. She's played on some of our other songs in the past, like "Hammer in My Hands." She did that, and really wonderful. And I would love to have the evening start with them,
Sure.
and then add Autumn to the mix and have her do some of her music,
Right.
and then add us to the evening, and then play our entire EP, and then maybe play a couple extra songs in there, just to fill in the show a little bit, and have it 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
Nothing.
man.
Not
That's
getting on
a
stage at 1 a.m.
oh, God, past that.
I do.
It's a
Yeah.
classy affair. No, I love that. I mean, so you perform under Orange Animal. Is it a band or a solo project
No,
or like
this is a well, this is a it's a band. I emphasize this, that Orange Animal, I mean, jokingly, Orange Animal is me. But orange is my favorite color. Animal has no designation or significance. What I wanted was, when I started this, I wanted a band that didn't lock me into anything in particular.
right,
And that had no significance by name. So you wouldn't look at the name and go, "Oh
sweet.
yeah, this is the kind of music they play." I wanted to just have the flexibility to do what I wanted to do.
I love that.
Um,
No
but
preconceived notions going in
none.
before clicking play.
Correct. And to
Yeah,
be clear, if you look through our catalog of songs, sometimes you're gonna get like, "Run Lovers Run" is one of my favorite songs,
yeah,
that I've written, and it's fast and it's heavy, and, it's got the guitar solo stuff that I love, but I love the fact that I get the opportunity to do all of those, as far as, and even an EP that's all slow. But to go
totally.
back to your question about Orange Animal, it's the songs are written by me, but at the same time, I could not do this without Bill and Adam, and, I give nothing but love to both of those gentlemen. They've been with me for 10 years. They're both fantastic musicians. They're good friends. And yeah, no, it's I've been very, very fortunate. I mean, Adam and I knew each other, and got started just guitar and drums in a basement.
Yeah.
And then I found Bill on Craigslist, and
Nice.
yeah,
Very cool.
and auditioned him, and I was terrified, that I didn't know who he was. I didn't know
Of
anything about
course.
it.
Yeah,
Little, like, closed out practice space in Cleveland. But he's such a good human, and both of them are so musically strong. And I say this without pause or hesitation, that especially Bill, but really both of them, but especially Bill, he's more musically knowledgeable and inclined than I am. So a lot of times, like, I will come in with the guitar part, and then he adds, his bass, and we discuss it, and then, he translates all drum parts that I yell and scream to Adam, and puts it
sure.
into concepts and words that he can then translate and create. So Orange Animal is, yes, it's me, but it's not me without Bill and Adam. It is absolutely, without them, this thing goes away.
Nice. I love how passionate you are about them. Like, I know
I
that they're obviously a part of the equation, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, that's why I love doing this is I get to talk to people who like people may not know who you are. They may not discover your music, but it doesn't mean the music isn't beautiful. And the
Well, I
fact that
appreciate
you
that.
you love it as much as everyone else is going to means that it's good. And it's so awesome.
Well, I
Um,
appreciate that. No,
and
you know, the part of the reason why I talk about Adam and Bill so much too is just that I've watched so many bands come and go, and I've watched so many bands, you know, switch members, and I get it, you know, musical tastes change, and I've just been
right,
really fortunate that I've had those guys to do this with me and make music with me and be willing to go with these songs that I keep bringing to the table and, you know,
completely.
not laughing me out of the practice space.
Totally. I have a couple more for you.
Yeah.
I wanna know, uh, besides this song, obviously, which song on the record are you most looking forward to performing live? Maybe not a
Ooh,
recorded listen by yourself, but one, that you think, this one's gonna resonate with the crowd.
yeah, I think well, first of all, place for me, I think is I go back to it, and part of the reason I go back to it that way is even so we shot a music video for Place for Me. I
Yeah, I
don't know if
watched
you've
it
I
earlier today, it's really good.
I appreciate that. Ryan Koppelman, I'm gonna give him some love. He is
Please.
such a fantastic, director, and he put it all together. I literally just showed up and did whatever he told me to do,
It's the best.
um, he made such a beautiful piece there. But even when Autumn and I were just kind of standing around waiting for different setups and whatnot, you know, she and I were singing the song and playing the song live, and it's just it's so easy, and she's so easy to, you know, sing with and play with, so, I think that'll be something special. I'm really looking forward to Tireless and Wild. This is me
Cool.
selfishly,
Yeah.
and that's just because of the sax solo. I've
I
never had a
mean, the
sax solo
sax
before.
always hits in a live setting
I
every
I
time.
I tell you, I've never had one before on an album, and so this is, my first one. Colin Palmieri, young guy, probably early 20s, maybe. He came into the studio and just crushed it. It was fun to watch because we'd already had everything else recorded except for the sax solo, and he literally just went in and owned it,
Hell yeah.
just owned it, absolutely owned it. Knew exactly
Awesome.
what he wanted. I don't know, he maybe did it in 3 takes. Um, yeah, we were all kind of chuckling in the studio listening to him do it, and you know.
Amazing.
But I look forward to that. I really look forward to playing that and being loud um, so yeah. If you get did have you even had you haven't had a chance to hear any of the other songs on the EP yet, right?
No, just this
Yeah, they're
song.
all. Well, I'm happy to share it to you. If you want me to share them with you, I'm happy to send it your way.
Please,
Um,
please.
I'll leave you my yeah, hell, you can text me or cell phone or text me or email, whatever's
I've
easiest.
got I've got all your info, so yeah, totally.
Yeah, well, go ahead and shoot me a text message. I'll shoot you the
Sounds good.
SoundCloud link, and,
Perfect.
so you can listen to the playlist, and
Please,
I'd love to hear what you think about it.
totally. Um, Listen, in that case, I wanna ask you one more question,
Yeah,
and there's no correct answer, but for anyone that's gonna listen to your music for the first time, do you think there's, like, an opening message that you have for them, before they click the play button?
for the entire
Let's say
all
for
things
this
Orange
song.
Animal or just
Let's
this
say for
EP?
this song.
For this song, I would just say oh, goodness, that's a tough question. I think for me, the biggest thing is just sit back and feel it and know yeah, just, that's it, and I think you hit also said it well of, like, putting on a pair of headphones, because it is from a mixing perspective and the
Yeah,
way it's put together, also intentional, um, it sounds so rich in headphones, and again, I credit David for doing that,
right.
but yeah, you know, I was asked this recently about what do I think people will find in kind of the silent parts between the songs and whatnot? And it's such a hard idea to pinpoint for other people. I guess I just hope when they listen to it, they find something and it means something and that they find that it resonates in a way for them when they listen and that it takes them to a place that is feels similar to where I was when I wrote it and recorded it. It's hard to describe that recording process too because you have this written section. You have all these things in you hear it in your head, and you have to put it down, and the process of putting it down is its own special experience as part of the song too. It becomes like I can no longer ever hear one of these songs without feeling where I was when I recorded it.
The
Not just when I wrote,
magic.
but
Yeah,
where I recorded it, when I sang it, when it was, you know, late 11 o'clock at night, and it's Sumer recording, it's out in the woods, and like I said, we spent the night there, and it's just this giant place in the middle of the woods, and we had, lights, just, kind of like Christmas lights around, and that's
yeah.
it. And I feel that space. And so I guess going back to the long answer to a short question is I just want whoever's listening to feel something like that.
They're
That
going
that's
to.
that's it.
Guarantee it right now. Um, John, this has been such a pleasure getting to talk to you, truly.
Oh,
Before we
same.
wrap
Thank you.
up, you're welcome. Before we wrap up, please let me plug everything for you once again.
Sure.
So if you've made it this far in the interview and you didn't realize, I'm speaking with John Ramsey of Orange Animal. The song is called Place for Me. The EP is of the same name. There are singles on the way. We will have links everywhere so that you can listen and share and follow along and stay tuned for more. I'm so excited to hear more. I think everyone is going to love this song. Um, and I'm just kind of excited to follow the journey of this rollout and whatever the future holds.
Wow, Austin, I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure talking to you,
Totally, man.
yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Well, listen, I hope you have an amazing rest of your night, and I hope to talk soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you,
All
sir.
right,
Appreciate it.
take care. I'll see you
Bye now.
later. Bye bye.